Acts of the Apostles, chapter 27, lesson 28. In studying this chapter, 1. To observe how Paul's trip to Rome began, 2. To notice how Paul warned of a disaster and was ignored, 3. To examine how the tempestuous sea became disastrous for the ship, and 4. To contemplate how all were saved in the shipwreck at Malta. When it was decided that the prisoners should sail to Italy, Julius, a centurion of the Augustan regiment, took custody. They boarded a ship of the Arimathean to sail along the Asian coast. Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, accompanied Paul. When the ship arrived at Sidon, Julius treated Paul kindly. He was allowed to go to his friends and receive care. Acts 27, 1-3. When it was determined that we should sail for Italy, they delivered Paul and certain other prisoners to a centurion named Julius, of the Augustan band. Embarking in a ship of Adramyttium, which was about to sail to places on the coast of Asia, we put to sea, Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, being with us. The next day we touched at Sidon. Julius treated Paul kindly and gave him permission to go to his friends and refresh himself. Then they sailed near Cyprus, Cilicia, Pamphylia, and arrived at Myra. There the centurion found an Alexandrian ship headed to Italy. They boarded the ship and departed. They sailed slowly for many days, as the wind made it difficult to sail. They continued to sail with difficulty near Cnidus and Crete off Slamone. Next they arrived at Fair Havens, near the city of Lycia. Acts 27, 4-8. Putting to sea from there, we sailed under the lee of Cyprus, because the winds were contrary. When we had sailed across the sea, which is off Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia. There the centurion found a ship of Alexandria sailing for Italy, and he put us on board. When we had sailed slowly many days, and had come with difficulty opposite Cnidus, the wind not allowing us further, we sailed under the lee of Crete, opposite Slamone. With difficulty sailing along it, we came to a certain place called Fair Havens, near the city of Lycia. A great amount of time had passed, and sailing became dangerous. Paul advised, "I perceive that this voyage will end with disaster and much loss." The centurion ignored Paul, and rather listened to the helmsman and shipowner, who considered the harbor not suitable to winter in. The majority wanted to sail on to Phoenix, a harbor of Crete. Acts 27, 9-12. When much time had passed, and the voyage was now dangerous, because the fast had now already gone by, Paul admonished them and said to them, "Sirs, I perceive that the voyage will be with injury and much loss, not only of the cargo and the ship, but also of our lives." But the centurion gave more heed to the master and to the owner of the ship than to those things which were spoken by Paul. Because the haven was not suitable to winter in, the majority advised going to sea from there, if by any means they could reach Phoenix and winter there, which is a port of Crete, looking northeast and southeast. The south wind began to blow softly. Supposing this favorable, they put out to sea. They sailed close to Crete. Shortly after sailing, a tempestuous head wind arose, called Euroclydon. The ship was driven south of an island called Claudia. The sailors secured the ship with cables, ropes, by passing them underneath the hull. The following day they lightened the ship. The third day they threw the ship's tackle overboard. After several days in the storm, all hope was given up. They had not eaten for many days. Acts 27, 13-16. When the south wind blew softly, supposing that they had obtained their purpose, they weighed anchor and sailed along Crete, close to the shore. But before long a tempestuous wind beat down from the shore, which is called Euroclydon. When the ship was caught and couldn't face the wind, we gave way to it and were driven along. Running under the lee of a small island called Claudia, we were able, with difficulty, to secure the boat. Acts 27, 17-20. After they had hoisted it up, they used cables to help reinforce the ship. Fearing that they would run aground on the Syrtis sandbars, they lowered the sea anchor, and so were driven along. As we labored exceedingly with the storm, the next day they began to throw things overboard. On the third day they threw out the ship's tackle with their own hands. When neither sun nor stars shone on us for many days, and no small tempest pressed on us, all hope that we would be saved was now taken away. Paul reminded them that he had recommended to not sail from Crete. Paul then assured them there would be no loss of life, only the ship would be lost. This message came from an angel of God. Paul affirmed his faith, trust in God, that this surely would come to pass. Paul further revealed that the ship would run aground.